Howdy, partner. I'm Ray Arcade, and this is my husband.
Hello.
Why don't we get up on our high horses and get ready to judge some people on this segment of Stories from Reddit?
You're an asshole.
Today, we are going to be reading some stories from the subreddit Am I the Asshole? I haven't read any of these, so we're going in blind with our opinions at the ready. You ready, gunslingers?
Rootin' tootin'.
All right, let's get into it. Am I the asshole for asking my father-in-law to wear shoe covers or take his shoes off in our apartment? I, 31 female, live with my husband, 33 male, in a small one-bedroom with a very light rug. I had foot surgery 6 weeks ago and do my physical therapy at home on the rug with a mat. Because of that, we set a temporary no shoes rule to keep it clean and avoid tracking in dirt and germs. We put a bench by the door, a rack, slippers in multiple sizes, and a box of disposable shoe covers for folks who can't or don't want to take their shoes off. Everyone's been fine with it, except my father-in-law. He's visited 3 times since my surgery and refuses every time. He says it's rude to tell guests what to do with their shoes, and I'm not wrestling with boots in your doorway. I offered him shoe covers, a stool, a long-handled shoe horn, even said he could keep on a pair of slide-on slippers here. He said shoe covers are demeaning, and the last time he came in anyway with muddy treads, I had to spend an hour spot cleaning, which sucked because standing still hurts right now. After the 3rd round of arguing, I told him calmly, I want you here, but if you won't remove or cover your shoes while I'm recovering, let's meet at your place or out for lunch. He got quiet, left early, and later told my husband I banned him from our home. My husband thinks I embarrassed his dad and should have let it slide for family harmony because it's temporary and not worth the drama. I told him the rule applies to everyone, even delivery drivers, and I'm the one who has to clean this crap up when I can barely bend. I don't know if I'm being too strict or made it a bigger deal than it had to be. I get that shoe customs vary, and I don't want to be a jerk over a rug, but I also feel like we offered a reasonable option and got nowhere. Am I the asshole for enforcing the shoes off or shoe cover rule and suggesting we meet elsewhere if he won't comply? I have a lot of feelings about this.
Before you do that, though, Stella, knock it off.
Sorry. She's not the asshole. Oh my God. Do you know how filthy shoes are? And she's like, honestly, she's being very kind, in my opinion, for being like, it's just for now because I'm on the floor. No, if you come into my home, I don't care what time of the year is. I don't care what my physical state is. You're taking your shoes off. The outside world is disgusting. I have learned so much about dog poop and giardia, and because I work with dogs, like there's just poop everywhere. Did you know that? There's poop everywhere. And you bring it into your home, and then your dogs get poop particles on them, and suddenly, like, there's just poop everywhere, and it's all on your shoes. It's disgusting.
I grew up with an evil stepmother. I watched her tell every adult under the sun to take their shoes off. This is 100% the father-in-law having some weird power dynamic with his daughter-in-law.
And you know what's really shitty is that her husband does not have her back. And I have a big, big issue with that. Like, your wife is being super reasonable, sir. Okay? She's being very reasonable. That's your dad. And he's disrespecting her and your home. And you're going to tell her to get over it because you don't want the drama. You know what, girl? Divorce him. Get you a man who takes his shoes off, whose father takes his shoes off. You deserve better. I'm just kidding.
No, she's not. That just sounds like one of those dads who is just so cranky about everything. Any opportunity he gets to, like, needle someone or win some small fight with someone, he's going to.
She's even got shoe covers. Like, you don't even have to take your shoes
fuck
off.
the shoe covers. Take your fucking boots off, old man.
Honestly, and
Because if it wasn't his son and daughter-in-law's apartment, if it was anyone else, if it was someone that father-in-law respected, and he was a guest at their house, and they said, "Oh hey, we just put down new Italian marble, or we just got new carpet. Please take your boots off." He'd take them off.
yeah, probably. Yeah. Seems pretty straightforward to me. And I don't know, if you want to ruin your relationship with your son and his wife over shoes, I guess that's kind of your priorities. But that speaks to a bigger issue on the father's part. So what do we say?
Not
the asshole. I'd be the asshole if I told my parents I don't want to take care of my sibling my whole life. I'm in the United States. Honestly, I wouldn't have a choice anyway, but my brother has Down syndrome, and ever since he was born, it was basically expected that I would take care of him forever. I love him, I really do, but I'm not sure if I'll ever be stable enough to take care of him, or if I'll be able to take care of him myself as well. And I just wonder how that would affect my relationships in the future, although I doubt I'll be interested in dating. I feel guilty whenever I see videos of people with their disabled siblings and taking care of them without complaints. While I'm here and I'm complaining, but my perspective on this will likely change in the future.
Context. I need a little more.
Okay, well, we're just going on what we know.
Is this person an older sibling?
Yes. They said that since his brother was born, it's been expected that he would take care of them forever.
It's not his responsibility.
I don't think it is either.
It's not his child. He had no say. What choice did he have? What agency did he have in this child being born?
I think it's always difficult. I was talking about this recently with somebody. It's probably really difficult to be the normal sibling, especially when it's just two, right? So you've got a sibling who is someone who requires a lot more attention for whatever reason, and then you have a sibling who it's kind of like the parents put you on autopilot. They're like, well, they're fine. And then you become what I call the invisible child. And so this person, not that I mean, I'm extrapolating, not that their parents don't love them, but a lot of attention's probably already put on their brother. And so to basically be looked at as not only invisible, but the steady one in the future who will take care of the disabled brother, it just sounds like a really depressing kind of who am I kind of existence when your whole life is being put behind your sibling who needs more attention.
It doesn't say the original poster if it's a older brother or older sister.
No, it doesn't say.
Because I wonder if it's an older sister, and you know how older sisters kind of get that like default second mom, extra mom, default like kid parent kind of status. I wonder if this is an older sister and they just like, oh, you're the older sister.
Yeah.
You know, you'll have no problems with it versus like if it was an older brother, you know.
Plus, like, I'm sure that the brother is sweet. Oh. Gosh, everybody I've met who has Down syndrome has been like so full of like joy, but there also has to be a point where somebody has to put themselves first. Like, you can't live your whole life not doing anything for yourself. And when you have a responsibility is like that big of taking care of somebody who needs that much attention and care, it's like you would probably lose yourself. So I don't think this person is the asshole. I don't know what the resources are like for, adults with Down syndrome, but I'm sure that like finding some sort of long-term care with like visitation and stuff, so this person can lead a semi-normal life.
It starts and stops at the simple fact that the older sibling is not the special needs sibling's parent.
Yeah.
Just plain and simple. They didn't choose to have the kid. Mm-hmm. It's not their fault.
Yeah. So I guess
not the asshole.
Not the asshole. Am I the asshole for yelling my good morning when ignored the first time? So I live with my roommate and my roommate's girlfriend, who at this point could probably be considered a roommate as well. She wasn't on the agreement originally, but does pay and has been living here for a year now. Admittedly, things haven't been going the greatest lately, and I'm currently saving up to move out. Lately, they've been in the habit of just randomly ignoring me when I talk to them. It started with them ignoring simple questions of, where are you guys going? Which I get can sound interrogatory. Interrogatory. Sound
Sure.
like an interrogation. Mostly wondering in case something happens, but sometimes minor greetings too. This morning was an example of that. I had told my roommate's girlfriend, good morning, and she just refused to even look up and continue what she was doing. I figured she was just too tired to talk, but when my roommate came down, she started asking full questions. This might be where I'm the asshole. I said much louder, good morning, her name, and finally got a response. In the car later, my roommate told me that was a really bitchy thing to do. I responded. So was ignoring my good morning, to which she responded, we don't owe you that. So, am I the asshole? And if so, should I care that I am? I'm trying to find out the dynamic here, but to me it sounds like it's 3 women. It's a lesbian couple and their roommate. And maybe I'm reading that wrong because roommate's girlfriend, and then her roommate told her that it was a bitchy thing to do. And I feel like mostly this day and age, only girls say other girls are being bitchy. So she's
Maybe.
like, dude, if a dude told me I was being bitchy, I'd be like, you see, bitchy. And I responded,
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter with the roommates. It doesn't matter what the roommates are. The poster's an asshole for this. 100%.
Oh.
Strong feelings.
Well, I just was trying to figure out the dynamic,
It
mostly
doesn't
because I
matter.
need to know if a dude is telling a girl that she's being bitchy. But my hope is that it's a lesbian couple and another woman roommate, because the dynamic kind of matters.
Not that much.
Okay, not that much. Okay, fine. You think the roommate's an asshole?
The poster.
Who's
Yes.
saying good morning?
Am I the asshole? Yes, you're the asshole.
Why do you think that?
My roommate's girlfriend, who could probably be considered a roommate at this point, she wasn't in the agreement originally, but does pay and has been living here for a year now. So your rent went from being split 2 ways to 3 ways.
Mm.
That person's easing your rent burden.
Mm.
Like right off the bat. If they're living there and they're paying rent, you know, we've had experiences, right? Someone who wasn't on the lease, someone wasn't on the agreement, staying over a long time.
Yeah, but what does that
Wasn't
have to do with
wasn't
them?
paying rent.
But they're being rude to this person.
They're not being rude.
They're ignoring them. Just saying good morning.
But the way that this is written, the poster is leaving out so much.
You don't know that.
I know that a ton. I can tell that a ton. Ignoring me when I talk to them. It started with them ignoring simple questions of, where are you guys going? The poster is in trying to invite themselves a lot.
No, here's what I feel like. I feel like this person had a roommate, and then the roommate got a girlfriend. And then suddenly it was like, almost like they're probably treating the roommate like their third wheel and annoying and obtrusive. And they're just a person who's trying to be friendly and live their life. And I mean, I don't think you should be like, good morning, after you're ignored and take a hint. But I think it's rude to insert yourself into somebody's living situation and then they give you the good grace of letting them stay with you, and then to ignore them and be rude to them.
Admittedly, things haven't been going the greatest lately, and I'm currently saving up to move out.
Yeah, probably because they're treating this roommate like garbage.
Or probably because the roommate who's yelling good morning, is interjecting themselves unnecessarily into their relationship. Or
by saying good morning.
that's the one example. the one example.
I can only go off of what this says. The question is, am I the asshole for yelling good morning when ignored the first time?
Admittedly, things haven't been going the greatest lately, and I'm currently saving to move up. That means there's so much more that could be going on. And they themselves admit that their questions can sound interrogatory, mostly wondering, in case something happens, why do you need to know where they're going in case something happens? These are adults. Are you their emergency contact?
Well, sometimes you're just talking to somebody.
Wondering in case something happens tells me that the poster, the OP, is like anxiously attached.
Oh my God, you are really reading into this person.
Well, there's everything that the poster wrote and everything that they didn't write.
Okay, well, maybe on this we can land on that you think the poster OP is an asshole.
I don't think they are.
And I think the roommates are kind of assholes, so we could say both the assholes.
Nah, they're the asshole.
Both
Everyone's
the
an asshole. You're an asshole.
Would I be the asshole if I invite my father to the wedding without telling my mom and sisters? I, female 26, am getting married in October. Congratulations. My parents are separated, and my mother took my father to court over separation alimony. They are not getting divorced because my mother only believes in scriptural divorce. My mother and sisters are very against my father because he stopped paying bills, and my mom had to get a job to help pay bills. He claims he had a gambling problem. He has always been a great dad to me, even though for many years I hated him, just based off all the venting my mom did to me about him for my whole life. I've gotten closer to my father after leaving my religion, and he is the only one in my family that has accepted me for me, while my mother told me we can never be close again. She also told me she loves God more than me, and by reducing contact with me, she was protecting her peace. My father is now paying for my therapy for religious trauma and mental illness. Naturally, all this has impacted wedding planning. My mother and sister said if my father attends the wedding, they will not come. My solution to this was having a courthouse wedding with my father in the morning and the wedding ceremony and reception in the afternoon, and invite my mother and sisters to that. I'm starting to regret my decision and really wish I can get that moment with my father walking me down the aisle. I admit my father is not a good husband, but he is a good father to me and is the only family member I have that accepts me in my new life with my fiance. Would I be the asshole if I invited my dad without telling my mom and sisters, or should I tell my mom I want him there and she could suck it up? But they probably won't come to the wedding. I'm confused. She said her parents are separated.
Her mom only believes in scriptural divorce.
You can get separation alimony, like without getting divorced. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. But it sounds like, well, it sounds like we're missing some context about why her mother's like, we're not going to be close or something. Is it because she was okay with her dad? The thing is she straight up, this OP says her dad had a gambling problem, and it seems like the mother doesn't like him for, some legitimate reasons. I'm sure being married to a gambling addict is a nightmare.
100%. She admits that her father wasn't a good husband. Was not a good husband, is not a good husband, but he is a good father to me. Two things can be true at the same time. True. You can be a bad husband, you can be a good father. You could be a good husband, you could be a bad father. In this case, he's a good father to the poster. And it's about her wedding day. And isn't the wedding day all about the bride?
Yeah, I mean, I think about my parents are divorced, but I feel like they would have no issues getting over, and they have actually in recent years. Yeah. They did not like each other after the divorce, but I think that it's really up to the parents to get over whatever issues they have with each other for their daughter.
She wouldn't be the asshole if she invites her father to the wedding without telling her mom and sisters. I don't think she'd be the asshole. I think she could be the bigger person by just telling them and inviting their dad. Because obviously, again, two things can be true at the same time. I can want mom there. I can want dad there. I can want both of you there because you're my parents. And you can suck it up and both be there, or you can choose yourself above me.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think like as a parent, it's your job to prioritize your child, not yourself. So, you know, I don't think OP is an asshole. I think her parents seem like they were assholes in different ways. And if they care about their daughter, they will get over themselves and go to her wedding and be happy. It's one day. You know what? It's one day. You can deal with it for one day.
Didn't she also say that her plan was to have a courthouse ceremony in the morning with her father there and then have a reception and a ceremony in the afternoon and invite her mother and sisters to that?
I wonder why her sisters don't like the dad. Probably because he had a gambling problem.
Maybe because he had a gambling problem.
I would say OP is not the asshole. What do you think?
Not the asshole.
Not the asshole. Am I the asshole for calling the dorm advisor on my roommate? I, 15 female, go to a boarding school for 4th to 12th grade. The high school dorms have 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a living room with a mini kitchen. Ooh, this must be a rich people boarding school. Each person gets their own bedroom and bathroom. Middle school dorms do single rooms and share rooms with 4 people per dorm. New students get paired with an older student to be like an advisor and help them get used to the boarding school. My roommate, Penelope, 16 female, was assigned to a new 6th grader, Callie, 11. Normally, you just eat lunch together every now and then and give them your number in case they have any questions. But Penelope basically became this kid's mom. I guess her parents are in a messy divorce and she hasn't seen her mom in a year and she's having problems with some girls in her class. Either way, Penelope brings Callie to her dorm at 7:15 every morning to help do her hair and makeup and walk her to class. And Callie's always in the dorm from after dinner until she has to go to bed. Last week, Penelope started bringing Callie back to the dorm right after class. And she stays until she has to go to bed. I told Penelope she needs to stop bringing Callie over all the damn time because I can't have friends over if there's a little kid in the room. But Penelope keeps saying Callie doesn't have anywhere else to go because 6th grade girls are bitches. Honestly, 6th grade girls are scary. And she'll try to keep Callie in her room. I still don't want a little kid in the dorm all the time, so I called the dorm advisor and told her that Penelope always has little kids in the dorm and it feels like a daycare and I'm not able to have friends over or talk about anything that might be inappropriate for an 11-year-old because she's always here. Penelope's not in trouble, but they asked her to be more considerate of her roommate and now she's pissed that I called on her. First, I would like to say, oh my God, I miss high school drama problems. It is so funny as an adult because when you're that young, everything seems like it's the end of the world. But like in the grand scheme of things,
much simpler times.
It's so,
God.
I would kill to have the problems I thought I had when I was in high school. Well, first, I'd like to say that it's so funny to me, like now as an adult, seeing how like everything seems like it's the end of the world to a teenager in high school. And it's really not. It's just so funny.
Everyone always says that they wouldn't go back to junior high or high school for anything. Like it was such a difficult time to navigate. Maybe it's just the time we live in now. I would gladly go back and redo high school. Even if I couldn't change anything, if I had to like go through all those experiences again, just because I know now how much bigger the stakes are.
Yeah.
If the stakes are my 16-year-old roommate keeps bringing an 11-year-old back to the classroom that they're responsible for, if that's the biggest thing I got going on.
Yeah. Well, listen, mind you, this is the OP, I think, is 15. Yeah. So let me just say this. I don't want to call a 15-year-old an asshole. So, but you're an asshole. I guess I just mean obviously this girl, the 11-year-old, is going through a lot in her life and she's having actual problems, like actual real life problems, not like high school drama problems. And I think it's really sweet that the 16-year-old is taking care of her and making her feel comfortable. And I think that's very sweet. So Penelope, if you're out there, you seem like a sweetheart. I think that when you're 15, all you can think about is yourself. And it seems like the OP is just being a 15-year-old girl who probably when she gets older will be like,
Probably not. This isn't a classic dorm room where it's just like one square room. They've each got their own bedroom and their own bathroom. There's a common room. She's complaining that she can't hang out in her common room.
And I'm sure her friends also have their own little
go to your friends' common rooms. Yeah. Whatever, commons rooms.
Commons rooms. Yeah, I agree. So, like I said, I don't want to call a child an asshole.
I'll call a child an asshole. They're being an asshole, they're an asshole.
But I will say out of this story, I think it's very sweet that a teenage girl can be kind and caring and mature enough to see when a girl, like a young girl, needs help, and Penelope is taking care of her. I think that's very nice.
Yeah, very. Penelope, you're not the asshole.
But as for you, OP, you could use an attitude adjustment.
You're an asshole.
Well, cowboy, this horse,
What's this bit?
I'm on a high horse.
What's this? Oh, you're on a high horse.
Well, shh. Well, cowboy, we're gonna mosey on out of town on our high horses to cast judgment elsewhere. But don't be a tumbleweed and blow on back here for our next installment of Stories from Reddit next time.
Don't be an asshole.
Okay, bye.
Bye. What am I here, an asshole?
So howdy, partner. Why don't we giddy up and strap up onto our horses? I gotta start over. All right, I got a better idea. Okay, you ready?
I got a better idea.
Why is Moist Critical playing on my phone?
You're an asshole.